Welcome to Life Abridged with your host, Eric Wallier. Run it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Life Abridged. This is my second time attempting to record this podcast. The first time I was talking about H3H3 and Keemstar, and I was on Twitter just looking at trending stuff, looking for something to talk about because I am very unprepared for this week's episode. What I usually do is I'll write down a lot of my thoughts about different topics throughout the week, and then I'll eventually pick one of those topics or a couple of them and, keep expanding on those thoughts. I'll keep writing down different stuff, things I want to touch on, and I do that throughout the week. So when I'm ready to record the podcast, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be talking about, which I don't think a lot of people do. Most people just hop in and start talking about whatever. They might have some idea, but what I would do was really map out all of it, and it would take time. I would spend a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to say. I'd really flesh out my ideas, try to get to the bottom of whatever I'm thinking about. And this week, I just didn't do that. It's slowly been getting less and less in depth these past few weeks. I haven't been doing as much work beforehand as I would have been, or as I was doing. I mean, this is only podcast 8. I haven't been doing this very long. But yeah, I came in today with zero idea of what to talk about. For a few reasons. I'm kind of getting bored of the podcast. I'm not going to stop because I like doing this. I like talking. But I lost that initial spark or that drive I had in the beginning when it was something new, which, it is still pretty new. And, I'm already kind of bored of it. But that's kind of just how I work. I start something and then I'm always on to the next idea or whatever. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to stop. I'm not thinking about it all week like I was when I first started, which I think is okay. I know there's people I listen to who just exclusively podcast, like that's their main thing. And you can tell, and it's what they put a lot of work into, and it shows. And then there's people like Rhett and Link, or I listen to Gus Johnson and Eddie Burbach's podcast. Those people are all YouTubers, and their main thing is making videos, but they also have a podcast on the side, which is just for fun, or it's just kind of a secondary afterthought. Even Views, which is David Dobrik and Jason Nash's podcast. It's not their main thing, and because it isn't, they can't put a ton of time into it, which is fine. I listen to pretty much all their episodes no matter what. I can always tell some are better than the others though, because when you do it like that, not every episode can be great. Every once in a while, a great episode will just organically come up. Some days it's just your day, I think, and either you're talking about an interesting topic or you have a story worth sharing that requires zero work beforehand, and you still get something really cool. But like I said, that's rare in these cases because they're not focusing on it 100% of the time. It's just not possible to do that. But then, yeah, there's those ones that do focus on their podcast 100%. Or at least almost 100% when it comes to the content they make. Reply All is one I watch or listen to, which is just a podcast. That's what they're known for. Call Us Daddy, very topical. If you are into podcasts or Barstool at all, you might know about that. Super interesting stuff, but they're the same way. They were all in on their podcast. Part of my take, they just podcast, which it shows every single episode. I think almost every episode is interesting. It's great. You can tell they put a lot of work into it because that's their main thing. For me, podcasting is definitely not my main thing. That's because I work a day job. So making videos also isn't my main thing, but I'd call that my more main thing than podcasting is. Like, especially these past couple of weeks, I've had an idea for a video that I have just been obsessing over, like nonstop. I'm trying to figure it out, trying to put it together. So I've been working on that a lot, and this has been neglected. I mean, on my end, like, I'm still posting. I hope to post this. I almost didn't record tonight, but here I am. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of how I look at it. I do really like these podcasts, though, even though I'm kind of bored of it. I don't think I'll be bored of it forever. I think I will, find myself inspired again every just once in a while out of the blue moon. And, if I stop doing it, I'm going to lose that opportunity. So I'm out here, and maybe you're getting something from this episode, and it's worth it to record this. And maybe this is one of those episodes I was talking about that's really great, that just happens to be great, but also maybe not, and that's okay. This video I'm working on, though, it's something different, something I've never really done before. It's got a lot of layers to it. There's some moral questions that have to be asked. I'm excited, though. It's one of those ideas that I felt just kind of came to me. It was like divine intervention, which is how I described the idea for my first video I ever made. Like, I have no idea where it came from. Just one day, it was just in my head, and I was like, all right, I got to do this. And once you have that initial idea, it just keeps rolling and rolling, and then you get something out of it. It wasn't like an idea where I'm like really trying to force myself. Like, sometimes I'll sit down and try to think of a video and just not leave until I have something. And those ideas, they're usually not that good, just because I was trying to force it so hard. My best ideas just come to me when I'm relaxed or just hanging out, thinking about something else, and then sometimes they just hit me. And there I am. I am a man with a good idea, which is how I was a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I'm working on a video. Hopefully I can pull it all together and get it out sometime soon. But who knows? A lot of variables with this one. I think it'll be fun, though. A good experiment. I mean, I just keep switching it up. That's what I feel like I got to do right now. Every once in a while, like, I think I want success. Did I mess that up? Like, I want success in making YouTube videos, being a YouTuber, or something along those lines. I'm not really sure. And sometimes I think, like, man, I really wish I had this. Like, I wish tomorrow I just figured it out and I was famous. But, I mean, besides the fact that that's unrealistic, I mean, for anyone, I think if I'm being very real with myself, I realize that I don't think I'm ready for success. And one of those reasons being, I'm just so inconsistent with being consistent with anything. Like, I think of YouTubers I watch, and they all have a thing, which I don't think I have. And that's not necessarily a problem. I mean, it's a problem if you want success, but it's a problem everyone has to face and you're going to have to go through. I think you have to go through the process of figuring out what your thing is. And I think I'm going through that process, which is necessary, but it can be long and draining. I mean, I feel like I've been going through that process for forever. I would love to find something I could be very, very consistent with and something that I love doing. Because, like, I love making YouTube videos. I know that. But so many videos I do are like a one-time thing. I don't have like a format I could follow, a theme I have. It's constantly changing. And I mean, that's because I haven't found what like I really think I'm meant to make. I feel like all the creators I watch have found that. Like, let's just say Gus Johnson, who I was talking about earlier. He does like sketch comedy and skits and like really goofy videos, which I've done videos like that before, but it's not what I'd want to do forever. And I mean, like, David Dobrik, another huge favorite of mine, he does vlogs, just comedy vlogs, which I've also tried vlogging. And I mean, it's not something I would want to do forever either. I mean, then you have like Rhett and Link, who I talked about earlier. They have a whole studio, a whole team behind them. They do this like little talk show that works for them. I've never really tried that, but that's because I don't have the means. I don't think that would be my thing either, though. I think my thing is something that doesn't exist yet. That's why it's so hard to find. And, well, that's okay. I mean, you got to go through the process. I'm committed to the process, so I'll be in it for as long as I have to be in it. And, you know, this was another try. Maybe podcasting is my thing. I mean, I'm just getting started, so who knows what this will turn into. But I don't know. I guess that's just my thought process. Basically, I'm just saying I'm kind of inconsistent. I'm all over the place, which you're not going to get like a huge audience that way, I don't think. But again, that is okay. I am learning, and I'm just out here having a good time, living my best life in quarantine. I think out here, barbershops are going to start opening soon, but I don't think I'm getting a haircut. I'm liking my hair, switching it up. By far the longest it's ever been. So yeah, that is where I'm at. I'm thinking I want to make some changes too in my regular day-to-day life. When this quarantine happened, a couple weeks into it, my routine was pretty much completely shot. Because before that, I would work the same schedule pretty much every week. I had like my time for working out, the gym, stuff like that. I had like my meals pretty much planned every single day. I guess I'm a man of routine, but yeah, that's how it was going. And then this quarantine happened and a lot of things changed. I think I fell into some bad habits. The biggest one being my sleep schedule. Even though I continued to work, it got so bad. I would stay up till 3, 4 every night, wake up like around 10. And I mean, I don't think it's critical everyone wake up early. I think everyone's on their different cycle. They are who they are. And I think my natural cycle is like that kind of sleep schedule, like going to bed super late. That's just how I've always been. I've never been like a morning person, but I don't like it. I get that way when I'm lazy. My ideal time to wake up would probably be like 8, maybe 9, but when I'm waking up at 8, I'm feeling good. It's so much more than just waking up at 8 o'clock. It means I'm motivating myself to get out of bed usually before I have to, especially now because I never work that early. And it also means I'm getting to bed on time almost every night, which, like I said, I'm not doing now. I'm slowly working my way back, though. I'm trying to get back into that groove. Just because the other bad habits I've picked up, like my diet was really bad for a while there. I'm cleaning that up, though. I already started with that. I'm doing pretty good. And I've also been drinking more, which more for me is like not a ton. I've never been a big drinker, but I have been drinking like once a week now, which, I mean, it's not a problem, but I'd rather not do it just because I have a super weird relationship with alcohol. But basically, I think that all stems from my weird sleep schedule, because I would get home from work and do whatever I have to do for a few hours, and it's 10 or 11 o'clock when I would like to be ready to be getting ready to go to bed, but instead I would be sitting here like, oh man, I'm going to be up for 4 or 5 more hours. Like, what am I going to do? I guess I can have a beer, or it's 1 a.m. and I hadn't eaten in like 4 hours. So it's like, oh, I guess I'm hungry now. I guess I'll have a snack. And while that doesn't sound that bad, I don't think it's like terrible or anything. I just would rather not do that. I think if I can get my sleep schedule in order, everything else just kind of comes with that. So, yeah, things are getting back to normal. Hopefully I can get my sleep schedule back to normal. I think, ideally, I wish I was like a really early morning person. Like, naturally getting out of bed at 6 a.m. I mean, that's absolutely wild to me. I could get 20 hours of sleep, but if it ended up me waking up at 6 a.m., if that's like when it just kind of fell, I would still be tired. No matter what, I'm always tired that early in the morning. So that is not me. Maybe one day, because I think things change as you get older. But get out of bed early, like 8 a.m., is a challenge every day, but I think it's worth it, and I like to do that. So hopefully I can get back on that horse. And yeah, I think maybe stop drinking for a while. I don't know. We'll see. I stopped drinking for a while all the time. I'm not a huge drinker or anything. I just don't like losing control. I don't know what that is, but I know that's definitely a personality trait for some people. And for me, I mean, that's kind of what it is. I don't know. Drinking. Pretty crazy. My favorite thing is caffeine, though. I mean, I love coffee. If I had to choose between caffeine or alcohol for the rest of my life, I mean, it would be so easy. I would just pick caffeine. Honestly, I wish I could make that decision. Like, if I had the option to be like, oh, I can never drink again. Like, I physically can't. If you tried to, for some reason, it just wouldn't work. I think I'd be like, yeah, sign me up for that. Because I do like drinking, but it gets me into more trouble than it's worth, I think. So if I could just completely get rid of that temptation, I think I would do it. But yeah, caffeine is the greatest thing ever. I don't know how some people don't drink it. It's I owe everything to coffee. You know what I'm saying? Some of you know what I'm saying. I was trying to think of like a question to talk about on today's podcast. Like, I did my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Something like that I can just kind of riff about. I didn't find one, though. I don't really look that hard. I was thinking about doing my top 5 favorite albums of all time, or maybe top 10 albums, or maybe top 5 artists, or maybe even top 5 songs. I don't know, maybe I'll do that in the future. That's very tough, though, if you think about it. I don't know exactly who I would say. So, yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. today was a bit of a shorter one, but that just leaves more time to talk in the next one, if that makes any sense. So, all right, guys, I will see you next week.